Sage Wanderer here, and welcome to my van down by the river. Okay, so it looks like Donald Trump just got back this morning from this epic and historical visit to Singapore, where he signed a nuclearization deal with Kim Jong-un, the leader of North Korea. One of the major tools that he used to guarantee and to secure this agreement is that a video was made, a professional quality short film was made using computer-generated images depicting what North Korea might look like if it were to denuclearize and embrace Western technology and Western economy ideas and Western thinking and ways of doing things. And I think that's brilliant. And I think one of the things that even his enemies in America, in the press, even people that hate him in the press, have got to step back and go, okay, this guy was kind of made for this, because he has so much experience dealing with non-Americans. Think about this. How many non-American negotiations with non-American people did Barack Obama engage in before he became president? How about George Bush Jr.? Do you think that he engaged in a lot of international trade negotiations before he was president? Well, Donald Trump has. Dealing with the foreign mind, specifically dealing with the Eastern mind or the Asian mind, is, it takes some experience and some know-how, because you cannot assume that they're thinking the way that we think. They don't have their mind doesn't work on the same logical wavelengths that ours do. And it's because of culture. It's not a racial thing, it's a cultural thing. Asians in particular, pride and appearing to be the man in charge is oftentimes more important than the deals that are made themselves. That optics here are important because of virtue signaling, but optics are important there because of the way power is perceived. That power comes through strength, and strength comes through basically being oppositional with most everyone. And so there is this underlying important aspect of the negotiation that most Americans completely miss it. And they start trying to negotiate with Asian people like they are American people. And it just gets you nowhere. Honestly, it gets you walked on, because what Americans perceive as being polite and being being diplomatic and being politically correct and being safe and being polite, all of those things are seen as good in the Western world. But for the most part, Asians look at all of that as weakness. They see all of that as weakness. Donald Trump understood from the very beginning, when dealing with Kim Jong-un, that if he was perceived as weak, then he would, then the Asian leader would be obligated to, stand up to him, to reject him, to walk on him, to prove his dominance over him. It's kind of like a dog that rolls over on his back and shows his belly. That's the way American diplomats have been dealing with Asians for decades. We think we're being nice and we think we're being accommodating, and all they see is a dog who rolls over and shows his belly. And that Donald Trump, because of his involvement in negotiation with foreign contractors, with Asian businessmen, and with Asian leaders, political leaders, because, he had to grease the wheels to build his buildings in Asian countries. And so I think he understands the Asian mind a whole lot better than anybody who's ever been president before. And, this is stuff that you can't really teach. It comes from experience. It comes from negotiating contracts with these people. One of the best, I think, and comic illustrations of the clash between the Western mind and the Asian business mind is in a movie called Gung Ho. It's a movie from back in the 80s or early 90s. It kind of comically covered the problems that were going on in the United States as the American auto workers were being supplanted by Asian auto plants, and how and why their building of vehicles, the way that they did it might have been superior, why they could turn out more numbers, why they could produce more cars in less time. They were more efficient. The way they ran things was more efficient. This movie, Gung Ho, although it's very funny, it has some great Japanese-American actors in the film. And I think because of that involvement with, real Japanese-Americans, they were able to really get a grip and really focus on and showcase that primal difference in the way Western mind thinks and the way the Asian mind thinks. And how for them, it's about dominance and power, and any sign of weakness is an excuse to take advantage of you. If you are weak, then that means that we can rule you. And that's kind of the way that, I don't know, it's that Asian warlord kind of way of thinking that we don't understand. We have this nobility and I don't know, this ethical way of looking at things. And the Asian mind, it's all about conquering. It's all about overcoming. And there's nothing nice about it. So when Donald Trump threatened this guy with annihilation, with the fire and fury, when he would set up negotiation meetings and then cancel them, he was basically playing the game exactly the way an Asian businessman would play him, and he was using the same techniques he's used to get his buildings built in Asian countries when dealing with the foreign powers and businessmen. And I think he's showing off to the world right now in this meeting in Singapore the skill set that we all knew that he had when we worked to get him elected. That the American people put this guy in place because we understood that he knew how to make deals. I mean, he literally wrote the book, The Art of the Deal. So one of the best negotiators in American business is now negotiating on behalf of the United States, and I couldn't be happier about it. And I think even Donald Trump's detractors and the press have got to give him this. They got to go, okay, he won that. I mean, nobody could have done this except Donald Trump or somebody like him. So I hope this continues. I hope he gets to stay in office and keep making great deals for the American people, and continues to be our chief negotiator. And honestly, there may be in the future a place, a cabinet post for someone like Donald Trump under future presidents who can be our negotiator. We should hire like hardcore negotiators with a track record of success to negotiate these contracts, these treaties on behalf of the United States. So anyway, I want to talk about that. It's a great day. Hopefully we're not under threat of nuclear war from North Korea anymore, and we'll get to bring them into the fold. And pretty soon, I guess there'll be, I don't know, Starbucks in North Korea, McDonald's in North Korea. Yeah, get ready. It's coming. All right.